You've been here before. Even if you don't remember it, even if it feels impossible, you've lived other lives, and you'll live more after this one. Before you were born, your soul made a choice. It chose to come here. It chose this body, this life, and this exact moment in time. It chose the joys you felt and the pain you've endured. It chose the beauty, the chaos, and the lessons hidden inside both. But the moment you arrived, you forgot. That forgetting wasn't an accident. It was part of the plan. From the very beginning, everything around you was designed to make you forget who you really are. As a baby, the walls of your nursery became your first limits. You were given a name, a nationality, a belief system. You were taught rules, roles, and reasons to behave. You were shown how to fit in, what to believe, what to fear, and what to chase. You were told what was real and what was nonsense. And little by little, the memory of your soul faded. The world convinced you that you are only your body, that you are born, you live, you die, and that's it. That everything is random, that the universe has no meaning, and your life is just a lucky accident. But deep down, you've always felt there was more. You felt it in the strange familiarity of meeting someone new and feeling like you've known them forever. You felt it in dreams that felt more real than waking life. You felt it in the chills of déjà vu, the fears you can't explain, the places you've never seen that somehow feel like home. These aren't coincidences. They're echoes. Your soul is remembering. You've walked this path before, and maybe now you're starting to feel it again. Because something inside you knows this world isn't what it seems. And that's because it isn't. The world you see, the jobs, the money, the titles, the expectations, is only a small part of the truth. It's a carefully constructed illusion. A game, a test, a school. Most people live their entire lives trapped in it. They're told to go to school, get a job, buy a house, get married, have kids, retire, and die. And they follow that script without ever asking, why? They chase success. They chase approval. They chase security and comfort and praise. They try to avoid failure, pain, and anything that doesn't fit the mold. They collect things, climb ladders, build lives around ideas that were handed to them before they could even speak. And in the end, most of them still feel like something's missing. That's because it is. You weren't born just to survive, work, and die. You were born to remember who you really are. You are not just your name. You are not just your story. You are not just your job, your path, your pain, or even your personality. You are something far greater. You are a soul, ancient, infinite, and wise, having a temporary human experience. You came here to learn, to grow, to feel love, loss, hope, fear, joy, sorrow, and everything in between. Every challenge you faced, every heartbreak, every mistake, it all holds meaning. Nothing you've experienced has been random. It's all part of a bigger picture your soul chose to step into. Earth is a classroom. Life is the lesson. And pain, as hard as it can be, is one of the greatest teachers of all. Through struggle, we become stronger. Through loss, we understand love. Through failure, we learn resilience. This world was never meant to be perfect. It was meant to shape you, to push you, to wake you up. But most people never wake up. They get stuck in the dream. They forget that it's all temporary. Death, for example, is not what we've been told. It's not the end. It never was. It's a transition. You've died before. You've crossed over and returned more times than you can count. Every time, your soul leaves the body like slipping off a coat. You return to a place beyond time, beyond fear. And suddenly, everything makes sense again. You see the life you live not just as a series of random events, but as a story woven with purpose. You understand why things happened the way they did. In that moment, you don't just see your life, you feel it. Every thought, every word, every choice. If you caused pain, you feel the pain you gave. If you gave love, you feel the love you left behind. This isn't punishment. It's awareness. It's clarity. Your soul reviews what it learned, what it missed, what it still needs to grow. Some souls feel peace in that moment. Others feel regret. Those who accept, forgive, and release move forward to the next phase. Those who cling, fear, or refuse to let go may remain stuck, hovering between worlds. Some spirits stay close to the physical plane, unable to move on. Not because they're evil or cursed, but because they're still holding on to anger, to guilt, to attachment, to unresolved emotions. They haven't released the illusion yet. They haven't remembered who they really are. But eventually, every soul finds its way. No soul is ever lost forever. There's always guidance. There's always light. And then comes the question, what now? Some souls return. They choose another life, another story, another set of lessons. They come back knowing they'll forget again, that they'll be born into another body with no memory of who they once were. But they accept it because the work isn't finished. The karma hasn't been cleared. The lessons haven't all been learned. So they dive back in. Other souls move on. They ascend. They rise beyond the cycle of life and death. They've outgrown the need for a body, for suffering, for lessons in the physical world. They exist in higher realms, realms of thought, light, and awareness that words can't describe. They keep growing, keep evolving, but in ways we can't yet understand. This is the journey of the soul, from forgetting to remembering, from pain to wisdom, from illusion to truth. And here you are, in the middle of your journey. Maybe you're just waking up. Maybe something inside you has started to stir, a whisper that there's more to life than what you've been told. Maybe you felt like something's off, like the world is wearing a mask. Maybe you've had dreams that felt like messages. Maybe you've met people who feel familiar in ways you can't explain. That's not your imagination. That's your soul remembering. You are not here by accident. You were never meant to sleepwalk through life. You are here to wake up, to remember your power, to see beyond the surface, to live from the truth of your soul. And when you do that, you break free. The more you release attachment to things that don't last, money, status, ego, the closer you get to freedom. The more you embrace love, truth, and presence, the more your soul begins to shine through the illusion. The system we live in is built to distract you, to keep you chasing, comparing, doubting, consuming. It feeds off your fear. But you don't have to play that game. You can step off the path they gave you and walk your own. You can choose to live with purpose, with awareness, with love. And when you do, your energy changes. Your choices change. Your entire experience of life transforms. Because at the end of it all, what really matters isn't what you owned, or how many followers you had, or whether you followed the rules. What matters is how deeply you lived, how bravely you loved, how fully you remembered who you are and helped others do the same. And when the time comes to leave this body behind again, it won't be an ending. It'll be a return, a remembering, a homecoming. You'll see everything you've done with new eyes. You'll understand the roles you played, the people you loved, the pain you endured, and the light you spread. You'll see the beauty in all of it, even the moments that broke you, especially those. So the question now is simple. Are you ready to remember? Are you ready to stop just existing and start living? Because this moment, right here, right now, could be the beginning of your awakening. And if something in you is saying yes, then you're already on your way. There is a space beyond the noise, beyond the rush of life and the pull of the world. In that space, souls pause. They are no longer bound by the weight of the body or the mind. There is no pain, no fear, no confusion, only a quiet clarity, a stillness that feels like truth. Here, souls look back. They reflect on the lives they lived, the paths they chose, and the roads still waiting to be walked. Every choice, every word, every feeling is laid bare, not to be judged, but to be understood. And in that understanding, something beautiful happens. They begin to see the bigger picture. What once seemed like chaos now reveals itself as a pattern. Every moment of kindness, every act of anger, every decision that once felt small is seen for what it truly was, a thread in a vast, living web. They see how their actions rippled outward, touching others in ways they never imagined. They realize how moments of joy or cruelty didn't end in the moment. They carried forward, shaping lives, building stories, creating echoes. They begin to understand something even deeper, that nothing in life was random. The pain, the love, the triumphs, the mistakes, they were not just experiences, they were lessons. Patterns they lived out again and again across many lifetimes weren't mistakes, they were signals. Messages from the soul, repeating until they were finally heard, finally learned. But even this deep understanding is not the end. There is still another level, a place even more profound. This space is known as the third heaven. It is not a physical place, but a state of being, the final stop before the soul chooses to return to the world again. Here, souls don't just reflect, they absorb. They remember. The illusions of the physical world fall away completely. Time, fear, status, identity, none of it matters here. In this sacred space, the soul sees the truth of existence without any distortion. The deepest mysteries are revealed, not in words, but in pure knowing. And still, even after seeing all this, most souls choose to come back. They aren't forced. No one makes them. They return because something within them still pulls them toward the world. There is more to understand, more to heal, more to balance. There are promises unfulfilled, stories unfinished, energies unresolved. So the soul chooses another life, another body, another chance. And the cycle continues. But not all souls return. Some make a different choice. Rarely, a soul reaches a point where it has truly learned all it needed to learn in the physical world. It has let go of everything that once bound it. It has no more need to come back, not out of fear, not out of desire. That soul chooses to move on, to rise beyond the cycle. It chooses peace. Why don't more souls make that choice? One word: attachment. Attachment is what ties the soul to the world. It's not just about clinging to physical things. It's much deeper than that. It's the hunger for more. More success. More love. More recognition. It's the fear of letting go. The desire to control. The need to be seen a certain way, to hold on to an identity, a name, a belief. As long as the soul holds tightly to these things, it cannot rise above them. It must return again and again, pulled by the very things it refuses to release. But attachment doesn't always look like greed or pride. Sometimes it looks like unresolved pain, a life cut short, a love that ended too soon, a betrayal that was never forgiven. These emotions leave marks. The soul carries them into the next life, trying to rewrite the story, to change the ending, to find closure. Other times, attachment takes the form of strong identities. Someone dies believing they are nothing without their status or their role in society. Someone else cannot let go of being part of a race, a religion, or a nation. These labels, while useful in life, are illusions at the soul level. But if the soul clings to them, it will return to them again and again, unable to see beyond. And so, the cycle continues, not because the soul is trapped by force, but because it keeps choosing the familiar. It keeps trying to solve the same puzzle using the same pieces, unaware that the answer lies in stepping outside the game altogether. What makes this cycle even more difficult is the greatest trick of all: forgetting. Every time a soul is born again, it forgets. It forgets the wisdom it once knew. It forgets the lessons of past lives, the realizations it once held so clearly. It forgets that this life is not the first, not even close. It begins again, thinking it is starting fresh, believing the story it's told from birth. But sometimes the soul whispers, in flashes of déjà vu, in dreams that feel like memories, in fears or desires that seem to have no cause, in deep connections with people the soul feels it's known forever. These are echoes from before, reminders from the past, calling the soul to remember. And yet, most don't. The world is loud. It fills every quiet moment with noise, every still thought with distraction. People chase love, success, fame, entertainment, believing these things will make them whole. They never stop to ask, have I done this before? Is there something deeper I'm meant to see? The soul, caught in this whirlwind, forgets to wake up. But freedom is possible. And it begins not with running away from life, but by seeing it clearly. To escape the cycle of reincarnation doesn't mean rejecting the world. It means rising above it. It means seeing everything for what it truly is: temporary. Every object, every title, every emotion, they all pass. Nothing lasts. And if the soul can accept that, truly and fully, it begins to loosen its grip. It starts with awareness. When you begin to see the illusion starts to lose its power. The things you once chased, money, approval, control, stop feeling as important. You begin to observe rather than react. You begin to question everything you once accepted without thought. From there, the journey moves inward. This is where mindfulness comes in. Not the version sold as a self-help trend, but the real thing. A raw, honest attention to your own mind. You begin to see how many of your thoughts and desires are not truly yours. They were planted there by family, by culture, by fear. And as you see them for what they are, you begin to release them. Then comes silence, stillness, meditation, not as escape, but as remembering. In that silence, the masks begin to fall away. The noise fades. The false identities dissolve. What remains is something timeless, a sense of pure being. And in that space, something extraordinary happens. You remember, not with your brain, but with your whole being. You remember that you were never just this body, never just this name, never just this one life. You were always more. You are a spark of something vast and eternal, momentarily dreaming you are small and separate. And once you remember that, the world changes. You still live. You still love. You still walk through this life. But now, you do it with eyes open, with awareness, with grace. You are no longer caught in the game. You are watching, learning from it, and slowly, gently, preparing to rise above it. Because the soul that clings will return. But the soul that lets go, the soul that wakes up, will ascend. And maybe, just maybe, that soul is you. Detachment is one of the most misunderstood ideas on the path to awakening. People hear the word and think it means becoming distant, cold, uncaring, like you're supposed to stop loving or feeling. But that's not what detachment really means. True detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop clinging. It's not about becoming empty. It's about becoming free. You still love, but you no longer try to control. You still enjoy, but you no longer grip things with desperation. You walk through life fully alive, tasting it, touching it, dancing with it, but you no longer mistake any of it for something that belongs to you. And that's the point. You begin to understand, not just with your head, but with your whole being, that nothing here is truly yours. Nothing here is forever. Every person, every moment, every object, it all passes. And once you see that clearly, it changes how you move through the world. You stop being afraid of loss because you no longer expect anything to stay. You stop being afraid of death because you realize that what dies was never the real you anyway. You start to live with a kind of lightness because you know that all of this story, this role you're playing, is just that, a role. A beautiful role, a sacred role, but still temporary. And when you stop clinging to it, you make room for something deeper to awaken. Here's where it gets harder. The final key, the one most people never find, is the realization that even the you who is trying to wake up, even the seeker on the path, is part of the illusion. The very idea of you as an individual identity, as a self, as an ego, that idea was never meant to last. It's not the truth. It's just a character in a dream. A costume worn for a little while by something much greater. What happens when you stop believing you are just that character? What happens when you see through the illusion of self? That's when the cycle begins to break. That's when the illusion collapses. When you no longer cling to the identity, the attachments, the story. When you stop trying to be someone and instead allow yourself to simply be, everything starts to shift. And what's left behind is something timeless, something sacred, something words can't fully describe. Most souls never reach this point. Most will continue to live out lifetime after lifetime, pulled by desire, trapped by fear, chasing things they think will make them whole. They will return again and again, not because they're being punished, but because they don't yet see the choice. They believe this is all there is. They follow the patterns laid out for them. They do what they're told. They try to fit in, succeed, belong. They die, and then they do it all over again. But a few, just a few, start to see through it. A few begin to ask deeper questions. A few start to feel that there's something more. These souls begin to wake up. And if you've read this far, maybe you're one of them. Maybe you've always sensed that life isn't quite what it seems. Maybe there's been a quiet voice inside you, whispering that you're more than what you've been taught to believe. Maybe this is the first time it's starting to make sense. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads. This message didn't find you by accident. Nothing in this universe is random. If you're hearing these words now, it's because your soul is ready. Ready to remember. Ready to wake up. The world around you might still be asleep, still clinging, still chasing, still trying to fill a void with things that were never meant to last. But you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to keep running. You see, most people don't realize they're making a choice. They wake up every day and fall right back into the same story. They believe the same thoughts, chase the same desires, react to the same fears. They go through the motions of life, school, work, relationships, achievement, all the while thinking this is what it means to live. And then one day it ends, and they start over, because they never stopped long enough to see they could have chosen differently. But you can choose differently. You can stop right now and notice that the path you're on isn't the only one. That the way you've been living might not be the only way to live. That what you've been chasing might not be what you truly want. That the person you think you are might not be the real you at all. And when you really let that sink in, when you allow yourself to feel it in your soul, something begins to wake up. Awakening isn't about gaining new beliefs. It's about seeing through the old ones. It's not about learning something new. It's about remembering what's always been true. You start to recognize that everything in your life, the people, the things, the successes, the failures, have all been passing waves in a much deeper ocean. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are the awareness behind the story, the stillness beneath the noise. That awareness has been here before. It's watched you play countless roles in countless lives. It has seen you as a warrior, a lover, a mother, a child, a king, a beggar. And through all of it, it has remained unchanged. Eternal, quiet, watching, waiting for you to remember who you are. And now you're remembering. That's why this moment feels different. That's why something inside you is stirring. You're not just reading words, you're feeling them. You're remembering something ancient and true. You've been human many times before, and you may continue to be human again. But now you see the game. Now you see the cycle. And now you know that you don't have to keep playing. But the world won't make it easy. Everything around you is designed to keep you asleep. The culture tells you what to want. The systems keep you busy. The people around you, even those you love, may not understand. They may try to pull you back into the dream. And if you let them, the noise will drown out the stillness inside you. The distractions will bury the truth. But the rarest souls reject the noise. They stop running. They stop chasing. They stop trying to fit into a world that no longer feels real. Instead, they go inward. They question everything. They let go of what they were taught. They remember. And when they remember, they begin to see clearly. They see how people cling to things that are already slipping away. They see how people distract themselves from the emptiness they feel inside. They see how the world celebrates what is temporary and ignores what is eternal. And in that seeing, something shifts. The illusion begins to lose its power. The dream begins to crack. And through those cracks, the light of truth begins to shine. Waking up doesn't mean rejecting life. It means no longer being ruled by it. You can still live, still love, still laugh, but now you do it from a place of freedom. You are no longer trapped by fear or driven by need. You are no longer defined by your past or limited by your future. You are present, awake, whole. But waking up is just the beginning. Real freedom comes when you begin to align your choices with this truth. When you stop chasing things outside of yourself to feel complete. When you start living from the deep knowing that you are already whole. That you are not your name, your body, or your story. You are the one watching, the one remembering, the one that has always been. And while words can point to this truth, they can never fully capture it. That's why we've created a space where the journey continues, a place where the deeper teachings live, a place for those who are truly ready. It's called Insights Academy, a free newsletter where we go beyond the surface into the mysteries that have been forgotten, hidden, or suppressed. If this message resonated with you, if you feel the pull to dive deeper, you'll find what you're looking for there. And as a gift for those ready to take the next step, you'll also receive a free copy of the Kabbalah, a book filled with timeless wisdom on reality, consciousness, and the path beyond illusion. Because here's the truth, most will forget. Most will wake up tomorrow and fall back into the noise. They will keep chasing, keep performing, keep playing roles that no longer serve them. They will spend this life, and perhaps many more, believing that fulfillment lies just around the next corner. But it never does. Because wholeness is not something you find. It's something you remember. A few will remember. A few will wake up. A few will feel the quiet pull of truth and finally choose something different. If you've made it this far, it's not by chance. It means something deep inside you is stirring. It means you're ready to see, ready to know, ready to remember. So now, the question becomes, what will you choose? Will this be another moment you forget, or the moment you finally wake up?